Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you, Congressman, for joining this dialogue on global financial and investment leadership. I'm grateful to Adrian, Snehal, Professor Prabhu, Rajiv, my colleague Gopal, and all the other dignitaries on the call for your valued views and for the suggestions that have come in from different sectors reflecting the business sentiment, government's policy, technology, investment, and all the knowledge and experience that the panelists are bringing to the table today. India and the US have been partners for decades because we both share common value systems. We are both vibrant democracies who believe in the rule of law. We believe in transparency. We have shared interests for common good, good for the people of the US and India. And above all, and I say this with full responsibility, we trust each other. It is that trust which is today the most valuable element of the relationship between the United States and India. And this relationship brings a lot of commonality, brings a lot of familiarity, and brings a lot of confidence to businesses on both sides of the ocean. In fact, over the last at least 6 years that I have been in government, and if one was to see almost for the last 20 years, the Indo-US relationship has been deepening. The last four American presidents came from both sides, both parties. And in India, both two Democrats, two Republicans. In India, we've had a coalition of the Congress-led coalition for 10 years. We've been in government for 10 years, first under Mr. Vajpayee and now with Mr. Modi at the helm of affairs. So in effect, all shades of public opinion have been tested in this relationship over the last 2 decades. And I think no better testimony than the fact that today the US has displaced China to become our largest merchandise trading partner. No better reflection of this than the fact that the US and Indian companies are working together to develop and produce vaccines to address the COVID-19 pandemic. No better reflection of this than the fact that we have come to each other's help at every possible juncture in the last 2 decades to support each other, be it India's membership in the Nuclear Suppliers Group or in the UN Security Council, or be it America's requirement for necessary medicines at the peak of the COVID pandemic. Yesterday, in the meeting of the Quad, the Japan, Australia, US, India foreign ministers have reaffirmed their collective vision of maintaining a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. In fact, I'm quite confident that our engagements with the Quad will only expand here on. And a great reflection of India-US relationships is the bilateral discussions that Mr. Mike Pompeo and Dr. Jaishankar had in Tokyo on the sidelines of the Quad, and the fact that the third India-US 2+2 dialogue is expected to take place later this month on the 26th and 27th of October. So really we are at a cusp of a very enduring relationship, and a relationship which I am confident will grow from strength to strength in the years to come. We have today a bilateral trade of about $126 billion in 2017, growing to $145 billion in 2019. But the target we have set of $500 billion in the next 5 years is eminently doable. In fact, I often used to tell Bob, Ambassador Lighthizer, my good friend, that we are here talking about these small, very, very inconsequential things. Rather than that, we should be looking at a much larger engagement. We should be able to do much more when we are working bilaterally, because a decision taken on an MFN basis, which is going to apply to all the countries of the world, is far more restrictive and difficult to take than a decision which we can do between the US and India. If I have to give a trade concession or hope for a trade concession or market access from the US on a country to country basis, it's much easier to finalize. One can be more liberal and come to terms and settle issues much faster. But moment it's an MFN based negotiation, one has to look at its ramifications on the larger global context. And I believe that soon after America is free from the impending elections, India and the US should start talking of our discussions of a free trade agreement being accelerated. It has already been put before Congress by Ambassador Lighthizer. So we are actually ready and raring to go. I have proposed that we should also look at an early harvest in terms of a preferential trade agreement. And my own belief is that the potential between the two countries is boundless. And being partners who trust each other, I believe we can really make rapid strides to provide an alternate source, a trusted source to American businesses to work with a country which is transparent, which is clear, which is a democracy, where there is rule-based trading, and where there is a dialogue. And a dialogue between trusted partners and friends always carries more weight than any other engagement. I believe India, with its efforts to reform the Indian systems of government, Indian policies and laws around mining, space technology, defense, banking, financial sector, capital markets, labor reforms, agriculture reforms, we have embarked on a new journey, a journey which I think will take India to levels never seen before. India today is moving out of the mindset of the past into a mindset of high quality products, into a mindset of greater global engagement, into a mindset of a greater share of the world trade. And I believe that the US and India have a long journey ahead of us working together, leveraging on the huge reform measures that Prime Minister Modi has taken under Atmanirbhar Bharat and our own effort to strengthen the 5 pillars of the economy, infrastructure, systems of government and governance, leveraging on our demography, the demographic dividend, and the demand that 1.35 billion Indians generate year in and year out. These 5 pillars will rest our growth in the future and our expansion of global engagement, particularly with the United States. Today, the government has a very holistic approach. We are moving from red tape to red carpet. We are moving out of the shackles of the past into a more open and liberal foreign investment regime, open and liberal trade regime. We trust each other to be able to move forward sometimes even despite disease. So I would like to assure all the esteemed friends on this call, there's a huge future ahead of us. Let's look at the positivity of our relationship. As the Prime Minister said, and I quote, we have to take the Indian economy out of command and control and take it towards plug and play. This isn't the time for a conservative approach. It's time for bold decisions and bold investments. Government of India is committed to being bold, is committed to being open, is committed to change. I'd like to invite American businesses to be a part of the Honorable Prime Minister's vision to go to look at India as their next investment destination. We promise faster registration, easier availability of infrastructure. My own ministry is working on plug and play and cluster development. We are looking at a genuine single window, which makes it easy for companies and businesses to work in India. We are focusing on improved infrastructure. We have a $1.5 billion infrastructure development plan in public domain. We are looking at logistics reform to bring down the cost of logistics. There have been several tax reforms already undertaken. We have insolvency laws in place, something that businesses always were looking for. India's corporate tax today is amongst the lowest in the world. And I invite American businesses to partake in a 15% corporate tax rate, 1-5. I suspect you won't get that in many parts of the world. Lots to offer, lots to showcase. We are willing to facilitate and handhold businesses who choose to come to India, expand our partnership based on mutual understanding, cooperation, and collaboration. Let's work together. Let's work in the spirit of oneness. Let's engage with each other, and I'm sure we have a bright future for the shared prosperity of the people of the US and India. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you and your families, your near and dear ones, safe and good health and a bright future. My warmest wishes to all of you. Thank you. Namaskar.